So our mission for MH Boxes aims to remove the stigma around mental health, especially among Black girls, by providing the toolboxes that I make that promote self-care, resilience, and open conversations. Mental health is not something to be afraid to talk about, and that even if I feel like I have nobody there for me, I always do.
Hey, Summit Chasers, you are listening to Voices of Impact, the podcast where you broaden your awareness to the various issues across the globe, learn about the amazing people who are working to solve them, and get inspired to chase your own summit starts right now. Hello, everybody. This is Audrina Blackburn with Voices of Impact, and today I am so excited to have Carissa and Mila here from Mental Health Boxes. I cannot wait for you to hear about what it is that they're working towards so that we can all just get involved. Carissa and Mila, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Of course. Okay, to kick us off, I want to jump straight into the reason behind mental health boxes, because it is such an important thing for us to focus on. And as you guys can see, Mila is by far the youngest guest I've ever had here. And I'm so excited just to hear from you, Mila, about why you decided to start mental health boxes.
The reason that I started making these mental health boxes is because my personal experience, I suffer with a lot of depression and anxiety. So I made these boxes so I can put what helped me through my journey to help other girls with their journey.
I love that. Did you feel like when you were and still are kind of going through those things that you didn't have what you needed necessarily? So you're like, okay, I'm going to actually create something that I need because I wasn't necessarily finding it anywhere else.
So I think that what I put in the boxes, I had the resources too, but if I didn't and I try to look up something that's maybe for free that can help me, you're not really gonna find anything. So just making these boxes for free just to give out to girls who need it is a good resource.
That is such a good point, because you're right. Like, not everybody's going to have access to the same thing. So you realizing if I needed help, but maybe my family couldn't afford it or whatever it might be, you wanted to be able to then create that and give it to those girls who might not be in a situation that they have access to the help and the resources that they need. That's absolutely beautiful. Carissa, what has it been like for you? I mean, that's such a bold move you're 12 years old, right? I didn't mention that at the beginning.
I'm 13, but when I started, I was 12.
Okay, so 13 years old, but initially 12 years old, decides that she is going to take the action needed and start a nonprofit to help other people. Like, that is such an amazing thing, and I think something that we do not see every day. So Carissa, how did it feel for you just seeing your daughter take what I would imagine was a really difficult time in her life and a difficult experience in her life and turn it into something so beautiful?
Yeah, it was really hard for our family to go through it. And I think part of that is the dynamic. I am her mom and I am a white woman and her dad is a Black man. And the way that we experienced mental health growing up was very different. And neither of our approaches worked well. And that goes with saying that I am a nurse and a public health professional, and I'm very educated about mental health, but we still did not know how to handle the mental health needs of our child. And we had to learn with Mila and we had to learn from Mila. And I realized that not everything is going to be very much like it is in a textbook or what you learn, and not all approaches are going to be the same. And, we were able to help her find these different resources that worked well and that helped us understand, hey, if she's playing with this little ring fidget, that means she's feeling a little bit nervous about something, and that can open up a conversation. So when she was going through what she went through, she didn't have many friends who she could talk to about it or who understood or who even wanted to have those conversations. So it was really scary because we felt like we couldn't talk to her. And then she also wasn't talking to friends, and we really didn't know what else to do. So it was really a learning curve and, a really hard time for a few years. And to come on the other side of it and see her with a purpose and a passion for helping others in the community has been amazing.
Yeah, that's incredible. And you said something I think so huge there, is that you actually took the time to realize that the way that you and your husband were trying to approach it wasn't working, and you listened to Mila. And I think that I can't speak for all parents, but I think sometimes that as parents, we can go a little bit wrong in that situation and think that I need to do it the way that I want it to be done rather than what can I do to help my child work through this. So, Mila, what do you think it was that helped you guys get past the tough time? Like what shifted, do you think, between your relationship with your mom that really helped you to navigate and get through it?
Probably just learning that it's okay to talk about what I was feeling with my mom. Like,
Mhm.
there would be most of the time, like, I just wouldn't want to talk about it or talk to anybody about it. So, just having a better relationship and talking about how I was feeling helped me.
Can I ask you this? Because I think that I completely get that. As a child who myself went through some really, really hard things when I was 6, and then my parents split when I was about 11 or 12, but when the incident happened when I was 6 years old, I didn't wanna talk. They put me in therapy, I didn't wanna speak to anybody, and it was really, really hard to take that first step. So, do you if you can put your finger on it, what was it that kind of led you to being able to speak to your mom about things that were going on?
I would just say that probably like I wasn't speaking so much that I did get like hospitalized. So just like
Mm,
nobody really wants to be there. It's not like the best place to be,
yeah.
but just like realizing that like my mom did put me in there to get better, so realizing that like maybe she is trying to help me instead of just like not trying to help me.
Got it. So for any parents who are listening, Carissa, what would you say to them if they're navigating this right now, having a child who's really struggling with their mental health and depression? What would you say to them to kind of help get things going in the right direction?
I would say listen to your child and listen to your gut. If they are not ready to talk to you about things, that's okay. Find a person that they feel safe with to talk about it and just continue to let them know that you are there for them and they will eventually feel comfortable enough to have those conversations with you.
I love that. Okay, tell me a little bit about your mission with mental health boxes. I know when we spoke initially, you guys have a fairly like niche group of people that you're wanting to help and serve as of right now. So talk to me a little bit about that.
So our mission for MH Boxes like aims to remove the stigma around mental health, especially among Black girls, by providing the toolboxes that I make that promote self care, resilience, and open conversations.
That's beautiful. What would you guys say? I know we talked about this initially, but I want to share with everybody. You mentioned the statistic around Black girls and mental health. So can you share that with us, Carissa?
Yeah, so there is a lot unknown about the mental health of Black girls, right? Because we are not seeing enough Black girls seeking mental health care. But
Mm,
we do know that suicide rates have increased 18% in Black girls
wow.
specifically. And overall, in Black Americans, in that population, we are seeing increased suicide rates compared to, white counterparts. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that there are not a lot of Black mental health providers, right? So recently there was a study done, and there is only 4% of Black psychologists in the United States. And those mental health providers that are, providing care in whatever role they might be in, right? We typically see more Black women in social work roles, but women of color in general make up 5% of all mental health providers. So whether that's
Wow.
psychiatrists, psychologists, social workers, et cetera. And that was recently put out by John Hopkins, a study that they did. So we are really seeing that underrepresentation in that population. And then we are also seeing, you know, the stigma associated with it, right? Black women have been through a lot, Black girls have been through a lot, and sometimes they don't feel comfortable talking about their mental health because of everything that they have been through, everything that their ancestors have been through, everything they fought for to get here today, that they
Mhm.
feel like their mental health might not be as important as some of those things that, their ancestors have gone through. And then also, we just don't have a lot of resources for Black girls in general, especially here in the South. And Mila was really lucky to start her organization through the Southern Black Girls and Women's Consortium and the Pete and Thomas Foundation, which is Meg the Stallions Foundation. So this was a specific grant for the Black Girl Joy Challenge. And because this is a population that was in need, she knew this was a great population to start with.
That is so cool. And you really tied in there too to the breaking the stigma. Because yes, we're not continuing to fight the same fights that the ancestors have fought and all of that. But that doesn't mean that the mental health issues that we're facing today are any less important. So I think that you guys were really working to break that stigma and realize that it's okay to feel the way that you feel and to try to provide those resources for these girls so that maybe they don't end up in a similar situation, or if they have ended up in a similar situation as you, Mila, that they come out of it feeling a little bit more encouraged and positive. So tell me about your boxes. What is in them? What's your favorite thing about the box that when you give it to the girls?
Do you want to see one?
I would
Can you
love
show
to.
me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
And for those of you who are listening, I will, if you want to head over to YouTube, you can see a clip of it.
Okay, so it's kind of hard to see right now, but
That's okay. Talk us through it a little bit. That's so cute. They're very fun and colorful and bright for those of you listening in.
I have a squishmallow, which is one of our biggest things that a lot of the girls like. I have a couple myself. We have a sleeping mask, bunch of different fidget toys. Here's some of them.
Little poppets, those are so fun.
We have a journal. This is actually a journal that I used. So I really like this journal. It just has a whole bunch of different things in here,
cool.
just things to relieve any type of emotions you may be feeling.
And while she's grabbing something else, I'll just add that is the best journal for parents out there. It's called Wreck This Journal. The author is Carrie Smith, and we bought Mila countless numbers of journals, throughout her journey. And I think that we like to bring awareness to this one specifically because, as Mila just stated, it can help with all different kinds of emotions. It's not so much prompted. It's not so forceful of feelings. It kind of has happy pages, sad pages, frustrated pages, and it really gives creativity in journaling. So hopefully we're helping people find a good journal instead of buying a ton and wasting a ton of money that do not get used.
Next, we do have an essential oil. It's lavender. And with the essential oil, we give a bracelet, and it's kind of hard to see, but the bracelets have little black lava beads on it. So reason is that I have bracelets with lava beads on them, and you're supposed to put the essential oil on them.
Okay.
I mean, you don't have to. If you have a diffuser, you can, but that's just what I do for it, or I put it in a diffuser sometimes. And then there's Model Magic. I really like this. It's not slime, it's more of a clay kind of. And it's just really soft. More we have stickers. We have these.
Your kindness can save the world. I love that. What's your favorite thing in the box, would you say? Pick let's go top 3 because I feel like there's gonna be a lot in there. Let's go top 3 things that you like in there.
Okay, so probably top the journal. And then I would probably say the Squishmallow. And this is a little ring, and you put it on your finger, and you can just do that, or you can just flip it in and out. Probably
so
that because
fidget toy.
Yeah, you can just carry it in your pocket or have it in your hands or something and nobody would really know. So it's just kind of a smaller one that you can use anywhere you're at.
Yeah. What does that usually help you with?
Probably if I'm feeling anxious or I need to do something.
And then I think for the parents listening, that's a really good cue. And Carissa, you mentioned it earlier about just being aware of what your child is doing and start to recognize those cues, whether it might be from anxiety or something like that, because then you can check in too. And I think that that's really important as well. What has been your guys's maybe standout favorite experience when you've actually gone and delivered the boxes? Because I know sometimes you guys aren't the ones delivering it, but I know that you have. So, Mila, what's been your favorite experience when you've actually gone and delivered the boxes to the girls?
Ever like delivery that I did. It was at the Y. I think it was 100 and something boxes. And I remember this one girl, I think she was like 9, and she like really stood out to me because she like opened the box and she was like so excited and she was so happy to see the Squishmallow and she was like hugging it. She was saying like she was like thank you, gave me a hug, and just that was probably one of my best experiences. And then something that I got to see, but I know that with our resource sheet in the box that
Mhm.
people go to people go to the resources. Like somebody has told us like they've had people go to their place to seek help.
That's huge. That is such a win. Like seeing the joy on people's faces is absolutely incredible, but then knowing that they actually went and sought help, I think is so, so huge and so impactful and exactly what you guys are aiming to do. So I love that. Carissa, what has been your favorite moment?
I love seeing Mila grow and smile. We spent a lot of time with her being really, really sad all the time and really reserved and to herself. And this has really given her purpose. And she delivers boxes and she talks to people and she, is smiling and, she's always telling people what she's doing. And she's so proud of herself and we're so proud of her. It's just really
Mm,
amazing to see.
absolutely amazing. Awesome. What would you say has been, let's go with the most challenging thing from your journey with MH boxes? So with getting it started.
I have two. So probably that some resources won't accept us because we're just targeted to one population.
Mm.
And one other kind of problem is that like the boxes do get really expensive, so we try to get as much donations.
That makes sense. Let me ask this question. This will be to both of you. Let's start with Carissa. What have you learned about yourself throughout this journey?
I have learned that I didn't do as bad of a job parenting as sometimes you think you do, right?
Yeah.
Especially when you go through this with your child, it is hard to say my kid is in a mental health facility. It's hard to talk
Mhm.
about that. The more I talked about it, the more I realized that other people have experienced that too. And it's okay for all of us to talk about it, right? But there's a lot of shame that comes from that. So I really learned that, things happen, but as long as we stay together as a family and we learn from each other, we will rise above that. And I'm just really proud of, you know, me and my husband and Mila and my kids and really proud of my family.
Yeah, that's huge. And again, I think for you guys to have that awareness is such a big part of everything that you're seeing now. So that's absolutely amazing. Mila, what about you? What have you learned about yourself throughout this journey?
Mental health is not something to be afraid to talk about, and that even if I feel like I have nobody there for me, I always do. And it's just good to have my resources and just know that I'm okay.
Absolutely. And I'm going to add to your list there. You're resilient as heck. And that is so, so important and such a huge thing, I think, for you to realize and take ownership of it at your age. Cause like you've gone through something really, really difficult that I don't think a lot of people would have come out and turned it into what you've turned it into. Like the fact that you took probably the hardest thing that you've gone through in your life and decided that you wanted to go help other girls so that they didn't maybe end up in the same situation or to help them see the light is absolutely incredible. Like I cannot stress that enough to you, especially at your age. So just like so, so amazing to see everything that you're doing. What do you hope to achieve in the next few years with MH boxes?
Able to ship my boxes out worldwide. And eventually, I do want to start making like age targeted boxes, 6 to 10, 11 to 6, I don't know, something around that.
Carissa, what do you see for it?
Yeah, I think, that has been Mila's goal, right? Is to be able to ship boxes and be able to segment by age and just provide things that are more targeted to girls within specific age ranges, which we are working on. We provide in each box, Mila writes a note and we have a little QR code to scan and we look for feedback and we are learning from girls, right? Finding out what they want. And, a lot of times girls will say, I really wanted some slime. And as a parent, I'm like, no, that's why we gave you model magic, but just listening, to what their needs are and what they want, especially depending on their age. A lot of it is universal, but we do want to make sure that we're listening to the population that we serve. And then we also really would like to form a peer support group. This box is really just the first step in forming that peer support. We see so often peer support models in veteran suicide prevention. We see it in substance abuse prevention. We want to create a peer support model that works for young Black girls and implement that. And then bringing those girls to the table to teach us as parents and to teach educators and to teach the people that they're around all the time how to deal with them, how to cope with, the girl who's in the room who might be loud. Like the teachers will say, oh, you're always so loud and you're so obnoxious. And how do we frame things differently? How do we ask appropriate questions? How do we not target and criminalize these young Black girls, because they might be having mental health needs that we are not seeing so clearly. So learning from that, and then down the road, how do we provide scholarships for girls to become mental health providers? We need to see more representation in the mental health field. I know I just gave you those statistics, but even my daughter, who is biracial, walked into her first therapy appointment with her white therapist who was in her 50s or 60s and said, how old are you? And it was like the immediate disconnect that you feel just costs a lot, right? It costs a lot of time. It costs a lot of trust. It costs a lot of money for parents who might not have resources. And, in addition to that financial assistance for education for young Black girls, how do we provide families with financial assistance? Because mental health is not cheap. It is a luxury. It is a benefit to people who have access to it, who have the funds available. But even me and my husband, who have great insurance, received a $16,000 bill for Mila's hospitalization. So I could easily see a family say, we'll never do this again because we can't afford it. And that might be the time that your child really needed it. So how do we help support everybody through this process?
Your vision for what you're wanting to do with MH boxes is so needed and so incredible. And I think especially around that peer support aspect, because Mila, you mentioned at the beginning that you didn't really feel like you had anybody to talk to. And then Chris, you were saying that she didn't really have like a group of friends that she could talk to. So to create that space for these girls to be able to talk before it ends up turning into something really, really big, I think is amazing. And then bringing the parents in too, because Chris, I know one of the things that you said at the start was that like you're a nurse, you're in this space and you are her parent and you still felt at a loss and like you didn't quite know what to do initially. So I think to be able to provide the support to the parents as well and kind of have it be like a 360 where they get these amazing boxes that help them feel good. Then they have a group where they know that they can speak and be safe and free and vulnerable at. And then their parents understand how to support them. That is an absolute, I think, game-changing recipe for helping girls work through the mental health issues that they're bound to face as they navigate middle school, high school, and the rest of their life, really. So absolutely incredible. If you could see one major change in the world, because I know you said that you want to go everywhere, as a result of your work, what would it be?
Black girls would be more confident in talking about their mental health, and probably, like my mom said, more Black therapists, psychologists, and stuff like that. So
amazing. If you could inspire our listeners to take one action today that would make a difference, what would it be?
I would say that maybe to do a small action like holding the door open for somebody or just complimenting someone, and to keep like something in their mind that it's okay not to be okay. Just something that I think about all the time, just so I can spread it with everyone else.
I love it. Carissa, how about you?
I would say take a risk. If you believe in something, work hard towards it. And I can't echo it enough what Mila says, that it's okay to not be okay. We all have days where we are not okay and everything will be okay. You just need to make sure you have the resources to get to that okay.
Absolutely. What is the number one thing that anybody who is listening could do to support you guys?
Definitely donate at www.mhboxes.org.
Yeah. So we have a website, mhboxes.org, and we have an Amazon wish list as well. And that is amazing support, right? We cannot continue our mission without help from the community. And in addition to that, just spreading awareness, letting people know about our organization and coming to us when you need a box for a young girl. Come to our website, order a box, let people know that they have the resources that they need. And also, just so people are aware, bringing more advocacy to nonprofits that are women led and girl serving. If you look at the statistics, women led nonprofits that serve girls are the most underfunded organizations that are out there. So just making sure that we continue to talk about that.
Well, thank you guys so much for taking the time to chat with me today and share what it is that you guys are working on with MH Boxes. And I wish you the absolute best of luck. And I know that you are going to be so impactful with everything that you're doing because it's so needed. So thank you. And that wraps up another episode of Voices of Impact. Thank you so much for joining us today. If you found value in our conversation, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. For more inspiring stories and actionable advice, make sure to hit that notification bell so you never miss an episode. Also, we would love to hear your thoughts and takeaways, so please leave us a comment below. And remember, no matter where you are on your journey, you have the power to climb higher and chase your summit. Until next time, Summit Chasers, keep pushing forward and stay inspired.